Five, four, three, two, one. Gamer Words episode 5. And the gamer word of the day, it's the old nice guy, Peter. You ever get called a nice guy, man?
I'm very familiar with, but usually I get a call in the shorter form.
Oh.
We call it the N word.
Oh, N-word. Nice guy's the N-word?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Where did it originate from?
I mean, I guess someone is really nice, but nice guy is a too long of a word.
Now, is that sexist?
No, it's just a laziness. It's out of
Yeah, but like
guys
nice
can be
guy.
both
Like what about girls?
girl and boys. Yeah, I think it's
Oh, you don't think guy is like a male
yeah, I think it's pretty neutral. You can go girl guy.
Well, I've seen some people have some gender related complaints about the word dude. You know, referring to everybody
Those
as
people
like
are pretty
dude.
regarded, highly regarded people.
We do have some transgender related news stories that we can get into. News story, I suppose.
Get into those. Oh, we can start with there.
Yeah. Leah Thomas. This is a juicy story.
Yeah.
So what exactly happened? She won something. This says she came 5th. This one says she won.
She won the 500 meters freestyle, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and then she came 5th in the 200. University of Pennsylvania senior wins the 500-yard freestyle in 4 minutes, 33.24 seconds.
Ooh.
Took control of the final 100 yards of the 500-yard to make history as the first known transgender. Can you be transgender without knowing it or without saying it? I suppose so. Right?
Yes, yeah, you can always hide it. Yeah.
To win a swimming NCAA swimming championship.
Yeah.
Second place was 4:34, so she only beat her by a second.
Yeah.
Close until the final 100 yards. Protesters carried banners into the facility. Fewer than 10 protesters outside the Georgia Tech facility. Some carried banners which read, "Save women's sports in the stands." I try to ignore it as much as I can. I try to focus on my swimming and try to block out everything else. Okay. I have some extremely hot takes about this, so how about you go first? What do you think, man?
I guess my take, I would say, is rational, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, I would hope so. I would hope that you wouldn't think your own take is irrational, but...
Yeah. I mean, I know some of my take are kind of extreme, but I think this one's pretty moderate.
Oh, okay, mild take.
I would think most people would agree. I think this is very unfair.
Okay. Unfair in what way?
Biological born women.
And that's because of testosterone mostly, right?
Like, at least during puberty. Like, when she went through, like, the hormone growth and, like, just, like...
Sure.
During her puberty, her bone density, muscle mass, lean muscle mass, and, like, her height, basically her body build. Sure, she's on hormone therapy for 3 years.
Yeah.
At least 3 years, I'm pretty sure. I think there's obviously gonna be, like, some effect, right? But I think it doesn't overcome all the...
Yeah, well, this is something interesting to think about. Like, let's think about the current rule system. If you're a woman, are you allowed to take testosterone? Like, are you allowed to use it while you compete?
No.
Right? And then if you do take it, and then you stop, are you allowed to compete after? Is there like a level that you need to be within a reasonable tolerance? Like, what if I abuse test for like 5 years, and then I go to compete? Is that okay? Like, haven't I already gained like an advantage from that? I don't really know what the rules are.
Yeah. But I think they allow, like, people with naturally high testosterone, like women, to compete. But I don't think you can have like take like actual drugs.
What if you had naturally low testosterone as a man? Then shouldn't it be okay? Should we start dividing leagues by testosterone?
No, like, I feel like there should be, like, I mean, a lot of the stuff is, sure, it's like purely biological, like just luck, right? Like,
yeah, sure.
And like genetics, right? Like your height, like just like your build.
Yeah,
But I think
we technically discriminate against, different sizes of people because they just aren't good enough. I mean, it's not discrimination. Sure. They're allowed to compete. But, they can never compete, really.
Yeah, for sure.
My take on all this goes to a more general sense, where we start talking about women's leagues in general.
Yeah.
Women's leagues exist because, first of all, there can be money made from them. That's the real reason they exist, first of all, is that either one, there's like some like philanthropy sort of idea of like letting women compete and have healthy competition as well. But two, they mostly exist because people are entertained by them and want to watch them, and there's money in them. If there wasn't any money in them, then they wouldn't exist, as we've seen in a lot of esports.
I mean, that's the same thing for male sports, right? It's also money, mostly.
Yeah, but there will always be some sort of male... Well, it's not a male league, it's just a league.
A league, yeah. It's a sports league.
Yeah, but making a specifically female thing, like they tried that in different things, and like with esports, but it doesn't work because there's not enough money in it. Occasionally there's an all-female team that generates a lot of like news coverage, and then there can be some money in it. But for the most part, these leagues exist not like for fun, but for fun. This isn't the best competition. When we're competing as humans, we're trying to compete for the best. Like, that's what the Olympics is. There's no female Olympics. It's just are you the best? And obviously,
female.
Yeah, we have female divisions within the Olympics. Like, we create these things, again, like for fun. It's like a rude way of saying it, but it's just created to let them compete.
I think it's just because it's too dominated by male, and then I think it's like a way to show like, equality.
Well, yeah, I think it's, first of all, I think it's good. It's like having children, like they have under 16 chess, under 12 chess, under 8 chess, seniors chess, like all these things exist. Yeah, and again, they're just for fun.
For kids.
Yeah, if you're 8, if you're 70, you can be the world champion if you're the best. But we also make these separate leagues for fun.
Yeah.
And you don't have to look at it for fun, but that's what I'm going to call it.
There's more purpose than just fun. I think it...
Yeah, like these things are important. Yeah, it's like good to give people like healthy competition and things that they're passionate about. And it's like matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be Iron like Peter and bot lane against me every game. It's not going to be fun. It's not for fun. Peter wants a for fun league against other Irons.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I just think like it's a natural development of like.
Well, of course.
Sports, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, some of it's natural, some of it's arbitrary. There's no reason to have like under 8, under 10, under 12, Well, what about under 11? Like we just do it. Yeah, we just do it for whatever. I mean, whatever we think sounds good.
I think you just want more people to get involved, and more people get involved, more money to be made. I just think like that's
it's what has money. It's what has attention.
Yeah.
It's for matchmaking purposes. It's for fun purposes. Like, I mean, that's why these things exist. So, with that all in mind, do transgender athletes disturb these aspects of why these leagues exist to begin with?
I think so.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that no matter if you look at it from like my kind of harsh perspective, or you have like a healthier perspective of it, or whatever other people think, I think the idea of allowing somebody to smurf in these leagues kind of undermines why they exist, and kind of like hurts the feelings of people who are really trying very hard.
Yeah,
and biologically can't
abusable thing.
Yeah, they can't do any better. Like they're already doing their best. And that sucks for them, but it's good for the transgender athletes.
Yeah.
But the transgender athletes can biologically compete in the open bracket. So I do think it's unfair. You know, like if Michael Phelps decided he was transgender, well, decided, is that pejorative to say it's a decision? If Michael Phelps is transgender, you know, would I be cool with him competing in the women's league and the men's and the open league and winning like, isn't it just rude? Isn't it just rude if Michael Phelps starts swimming in the women's league?
I think it defeats the purpose of creating the women's league.
I think it's toxic. And I think, again, it undermines the reason these things exist.
It, like, I think, like, having this take, and I see a lot of people have, like, somewhat moderate take like us, well, at least like me, and they're being called, like, TERFs, transphobic, and all those sort of things. I feel like I don't have anything against transgender people.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, we can get into conversations about if it's healthy to...
Yeah, like, I have no problem with people transitioning.
Sure.
I have no problem
with
neither do I. Like, I think a lot of people are transphobic, but I think, like, that's not the reason that people are against
this. I don't think, oh, this guy's a transgender, therefore fuck off. I think, you know, this is, like, unfair. And I think it's undermining why these things exist.
Yeah. And like for example, like Leah here, he was like, well, she was.
Oh my god, he?
Yeah.
Peter. Cancelled.
I guess
I'm gonna hold tryouts for a new co-host. When
she was still not transitioned, right? Do I call it? I don't know. So
yeah, it was. I think you should always say she. When Bruce Jenner, when she was, you know, like I think even
English not my first language. That's my.
You're foreigner. ESL excuse. Minority excuse versus transgender or transphobic. You know, which one is stronger?
But when she was still in men's league, she was ranked like 200 something.
Yeah.
And then she transitioned, and then she compete again, and she gets first place.
Yeah.
And like that just gives people a bad taste, right? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, if all the men transitioned, then the women's league wouldn't exist.
And and then it's just been taken over, and then we just can combine the league again, and then there's no.
And then we would have to be like if you follow that train of thought to the end, okay, it gets taken over by all transgenders. Okay, we combine the leagues again. Okay, now we create a non-transgender league.
Yeah.
It's like that's just how it would happen. Yep. Does anybody think, oh, we've created a non-men's league, this is so unfair towards men? No, because it's reasonable. Like, not all things need to be exactly perfectly equal and fair. Like, technically men are discriminated against by not being able to compete in a women's league. But that is like reasonable discrimination. It's like logical discrimination.
And it's not even called men's league. You can compete as a woman in like the.
Well, yeah, I'm saying men are discriminated from the women's leagues. Nobody's discriminated from the total league.
Yeah, total league, I guess.
Right? But does anybody care that we're technically discriminated against? I can't play on a female CSGO team? No, nobody cares. Because it's reasonable. It makes sense. You don't need to have this, like, Puritan.
You already dominate one thing, right? It defeats the whole purpose. If you already dominate the general one, and then you go to the women's league now, then what's the point of the women's league?
It's like, why bother? So then the last thing to consider is, okay, well, now how do these transgender people feel? Well, you feel the same as everybody else. I can't beat Michael Phelps in a swimming race, and maybe you can't either. That sucks. And that's it. That's the end.
I think maybe in the future we'll create a transgender league. Who knows? I'm not against that.
Well, see, the issue I have with that, well, not the issue, is that we already have a transgender league. It's the open league. It's the league for everybody.
Like, I feel like maybe now because they're a class of discriminated against, right? Like, I think.
But that would be like me saying we're going to create an Asian league.
Yeah.
We're going to create a black league for swimming. That's just, I don't think that's appropriate.
I don't know. I feel like because it's like it's somewhat gender based, right? And then they're also a gender, and then
I think having the splits. I think having the splits for biological gender, due to biological reasons and differences in ability, And having
Yeah, yeah.
splits due to age, for age-related reasons and biological age reasons related to ability, is the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
logical
yeah.
thing to do. And I think
The
if you
thing
take it
is, it's
farther than
also
that, that
biological, right? Because they're transitioning. They're taking hormones. They're taking like
well,
female
yeah,
hormones.
like
So
once you
I
start
think it's
making a
still
transgender
biological.
league, and even with this, with a transgender woman being able to compete, what is the standard? Like if I say I'm transgender tomorrow, can I go
Mhm.
compete in this? Do
I
I have to be
think there,
transgender for a certain amount of time? Do I have to go
yeah, yeah,
undergo certain?
yeah, yeah. You do. I think there's rules with it, right?
Yeah,
Right now in women's league, if you're
yeah.
transgender, you have to take the hormone therapy for at least 3 years. At least a
Mm,
new rule states that way.
mm.
So I think there's still like a reasonable
And then
like
we get into
discussion.
like scandal territory. Like let's look at it from a very negative perspective. If I'm supposed to be under hormone therapy for 3, how can they prove that?
I
What if
think
I like skip a
they
couple
test.
doses and then
I
they're
think they
just like,
test
"Oh,
you
your
still.
testosterone's really high." You know, like do they start having limits on testosterone? Then we go back to the original thing. Should we just divide the leagues by your testosterone?
I think we should just have a super league where any drugs are allowed.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, that's what classic that's what men's physique bodybuilding is.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's what
think we should have one of
that's where the
those.
fucking demons of the planet come out. These fucking huge, fucking freaks
Exactly.
lifting
I
like
think those are
1,200 pounds
those would
and
be
shit.
cool, like in like competitive sports, like not just for
Yeah, there
like.
was a very famous like old stand-up line. I forget who it was, but he says like what you're saying. Like I want to see drugs in sports. I want to see somebody pitch a baseball at 200 miles per hour and he dies on the pitch. Like
Yeah, yeah. I think those are more like. Yeah, yeah. I think those would be fun,
yeah, it's
and I think
unhealthy,
like
but I think it's fine if it's your own personal choice. Same with bodybuilding.
yeah,
It's your own choice. You're gonna have a heart attack when you're 50. You're gonna die. That's fine. If that's how you want to live your life, that's fine. And
yeah,
if we
yeah.
want to create a league where it's like, yeah, go fucking crazy, man, and we get all these fucking roided up freaks playing baseball against each other, that'd be sick.
The American way.
Let them
If
use
you
like
wanna
hollow
die.
metal bats. Let them use, all this shit. Let them
Yeah.
fucking go crazy, man.
Oh, you seen those YouTube video of a guy? I think his YouTube channel is called How Stuff Is Made
Yeah, yeah, I've
or
seen some of them.
something. Yeah, you see it. He made like a baseball bat with like gassed up version.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
those are insane.
Yeah.
Imagine if they play with
Yeah,
those.
just let
Oh
them
my
use
god.
everything. A
Yeah,
lot of them
yeah,
are gonna
like
die. That's gonna create some accidents, but
that's a
yeah,
sacrifice
that's a
I'm willing
sacrifice
to
I'm willing to
make.
make. Yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of people are willing.
yeah,
Yeah, and nobody's forcing you to play those sports,
yeah,
right? Like, you know the risk.
yeah,
It's kind of like boxing, right? Some people sometimes you just get brain
yeah.
damage.
And I'm gonna
It's
say
the
the same
risk that
thing.
you're
I'm gonna say
taking.
the same thing about the transgender athletes. I would like them to make a sacrifice and just
Yeah,
compete in the open league, please.
mhm,
I'm asking nicely.
yeah. I would just like to say I'm not transphobic.
Yeah, I think being transgender is fine. Now we can take this discussion into that where I think what's important when we think about the health of people is
Yeah.
the result. Like are people happier? Are people comfier? And when we think about people who are transitioning, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of discussions about the like mental illness side of these things versus the reality, like is being homosexual a
Yeah.
mental illness? Well, no. We
No.
know
No.
it's genetic disposition. Well, then we're not really sure with gender dysphoria, dysmorphia. I know there's body
Exactly.
dysmorphia and gender dysphoria. I'm not sure. There's like different terms there.
My philosophy is just do whatever you want
Yeah,
as long
but
as you're
but
not
for
hurting
example,
anybody.
like being depressed is a mental
Mhm.
illness. Being
Yeah.
homosexual is a trait, right?
Okay. I thought you were gonna say choice. I was like, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
yeah, not a choice, a trait.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
then, is being transgender a trait, a choice, a mental illness? Like, do we have science that is pointing in one
I don't
direction?
know. I
Right?
think, yeah. I'm not sure,
What's
but I
like,
have
is being
nothing
a
against
furry
them.
a
I feel
mental
like
illness? Is
probably.
being furry a choice? Is it a trait?
I think either way, I'm fine with it. All right, like even
If
if
you're
it's
like
like,
John McAfee and you like eating prostitutes, shit. Is
huh?
that mental illness? Is that a trait? Is that a choice?
I think it's a choice, but even
Yeah,
if
like
it's
it's
a
just guess.
trait,
You're
I
just
don't think
guessing,
it
right?
matters.
Yeah, maybe he
Yeah, but
was
I think
born
I
and
don't
he
think
just
it
wanted
matters.
to eat shit all the time, dude, his whole
Yeah,
life.
yeah. I think, and then nobody is like telling him to stop, right?
Right,
I
because
think
nobody's getting
even
hurt, right? That's the
yeah,
important
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Nobody's getting hurt. Is anybody getting hurt from being transgender? From people being transgender? No. But
No,
maybe
but
it would be healthier for some of them, or all of them, or none of them, to try to have it treated. Like, I don't know if it's a trait or a mental illness. Like, is it
I
healthier
don't think it
to
matters.
accept
I
that you're
think like
depressed or try to treat your depression? You know,
I
for
mean,
different people, it works differently. Some people try to
yeah, yeah,
accept,
yeah, yeah,
some people just accept it and move on. Like, I have sleeping disorders. I just accept it and I
yeah.
build my life around it. But some people have sleeping
And I mean,
disorders, they get fucking miserable.
it doesn't always work anyway. So I think just do whatever.
Yeah, right?
If depression doesn't like you don't
Yeah, some people
meds
get
doesn't
better, some
always
people get
work.
worse, some people, I mean,
Yeah,
it's like a total guess.
and
So
then
if
I
you're
think just do whatever.
transgender,
Hmm.
I just think that you can do whatever you like, but I do think that you should acknowledge the biological differences and how it's not compatible with why these things exist, why these leagues exist to begin with.
Yeah,
I just think it's
yeah.
rude. I think Leah Thomas is a
Mhm.
bitch.
Whoa, now you're
That's my hot take.
transphobic.
Yeah. That can be the headline tomorrow. If I was famous, that would be a great headline. I get canceled on Twitter.
You're gonna get canceled.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
I think
probably
she's
already
being
get
fucking
canceled.
I think she's being fucking mean. I think it's
Hmm.
rude. I think you should put your own like selfish desires aside
Yeah,
and do something else. Go
I
swim
do
against the
think it's
men.
selfish to do this.
Yeah, you don't need to be a swimmer. You don't need to you don't have to. You can.
Yeah.
You could compete on your own and just time it and feel good for yourself. You don't need to go into these competitions with your biological advantage, which is indisputable. It's just true,
Hmm.
and take that away from people. And the defense of that is, well, some women are born with biological advantage. You know, like basketball players, they're
Yeah, yeah,
biologically
yeah.
tall. You don't have to take that away from short people. And you can take this argument into some really weird spots. But again, my point comes back to this women's league exists specifically for that group.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think you should take your biological advantage into it.
Hmm.
And that like kind of brings up, because I think there was like questions of Serena Williams like
Yeah.
abusing
I mean,
drugs, right?
she admitted herself, right? Like
Did
she
she?
was on a late night show, one
Mm,
of the late night show with the old guy,
yeah,
and like one of the tennis player was saying, "Oh, you should play me or whatever," and she was like, "Stop asking me. If
yeah,
we play, you would 6-0 me and 6-0 me twice
yeah,
in 10-15 minutes." She
yeah.
knew, she knows, right?
Well, she
And
didn't
then
know
she
at
also
first. I don't know if you know
yeah,
about
yeah,
this
yeah.
one, but
When
in
she
the
was young,
90s,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, when she was young, she was like 16. She said, "I can beat anyone in
yeah, under
200."
rank
Okay.
200, and a
Yeah, because she
retired
got
rank
destroyed.
205 or something smoked
Yeah.
her, and he wasn't
She
even
was young.
active. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So it's
I
like
don't think
clear.
anyone
It's
can
clear these
blame her.
differences
Yeah.
exist. But people have
Uh-huh.
also thought that Serena Williams was like taking testosterone and shit, because they say like she looks, you know, kind of like very muscly
Beefy.
and beefy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, you know, is she okay? So let's imagine that she was, which I don't know if she did or not. Then is that like, is she a bitch as well? I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, it's
people get
rude.
disqualified all the time for taking like
Yeah,
illegal
you're
substance.
being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Follow the rules, and you know, have some sportsmanship, I guess you would say. Just be nice.
Mm,
And
yeah.
and you know, technically being a transgender is like bending the rules in a way that is just not fair. You got to
Yeah. You
abuse
found a
testosterone.
loophole.
Yeah, you got to
Yep.
abuse testosterone for 20 years. You should
Hmm.
not be allowed to compete.
Yeah. I agree.
That's all. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next story.
Yeah. What else we got here? We have Disney employees and former judge. Now, this Disney employee, that's like clickbait. But former judge, that's like a pretty egregious thing.
Mm.
Among 108 arrested in human trafficking sting in Florida. 108. So I wonder what that. Yeah. So child sexual predators seeking prostitutes, not underage. I guess just in general, right?
Yeah, I think it's
6-day
just in
undercover
general.
human trafficking operation. 4 Disney employees and a retired judge. I mean, again, this is kind of just to generate clicks, but I mean, a judge especially, like that's kind of.
Yeah.
Now, to be
Yeah.
fair, I think prostitution should be legal. If some of these people were just buying prostitutes, then like I feel like the story is almost like lessened. Like arresting child predators and comparing it to people who are having prostitutes.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, those things are not even in the same realm of anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
child predator is like rank 1
Well, yeah, like
of
they're
like
talking about human traffickers, child predators, and then they're talking about those seeking prostitutes. It's like, why is this even a crime to
different
begin with?
league.
Yeah,
For
that's a whole
sure,
other
for sure.
conversation about. Well, I mean, that's like an old conversation. Like everybody knows that
I
prostitution
mean,
should be
peop
legal.
it's just boomer
Yeah,
law.
yeah. It's like
Yeah, for
when you
sure.
make prostitution illegal, who do you hurt? The prostitutes. You know, they
Mhm.
get abused and scammed and killed. Like,
Yeah, they will it's kinda like abortion, right? It's
yeah,
like
yeah. When you make
you
abortion illegal, who do you hurt? The women. The
it's like
babies still get
there
aborted. Like,
there will still be
yeah,
abortion. It's
yeah.
just
Or they become
people will not
orphans.
do it
Yeah, or they get fucking
healthy
abandoned, or
way.
they get treated
Yeah.
like shit. Like, it doesn't do
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Where there is prostitution, there is exploitation, disease, dysfunction, and broken faith. Yeah, I wonder why. Okay, so I'm going to be
'Cause
a little harsh on these
yeah,
people, but regardless,
for
I mean,
sure.
the operation's obviously good overall.
Yeah.
Found prostitutes have been posted online advertisements, various websites. Sure. They also identified adults that were communicating with children. They fell for the old undercover detective saying, "Come meet me." The old Chris Hansen
This
shtick.
that was I can't watch those shows, right?
I
Like
was very
the
uncomfortable.
daytime NBC.
Yeah, very
I feel
uncomfortable.
like yeah, the way they set it up is kind of
Yeah,
just weird. Yeah.
yeah. It's awkward to
Oh, yeah.
watch. I mean, it's obviously a
Yeah.
good thing. You get into questions of entrapment and stuff like that as well. Like,
Yeah. Apparently, a lot of those people just
yeah,
get
they didn't get,
away.
yeah, they didn't serve jail
Yeah.
time because they can use the entrapment thing. It's like
Yeah.
the kid came on to me. You know, they told me to come here. I was clearly entrapped. You know,
Yeah.
so it's a whole other thing.
Mhm.
Pretended to be 14, charged with 3 counts of transmitting harmful material to a minor, unlawful communications. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, a lot of arrests,
It's a
obviously.
sad story, obviously, but I
Yeah.
guess it's still good that
Well, yeah, it's good
bad
that
people are getting caught.
somebody is like, you know, trying to do these things and looking out for
Yeah.
them. But yeah, 108 people. Again, I kind of wish that the prostitute, because if like 97 of these were like just guys trying to fuck prostitutes, then
I
you
feel
know,
like it's definitely like a low amount, but they just want to put it in there.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Anyway, good news. We got good old Kanye having a mental breakdown.
yeah.
Banned from
Someone else
Instagram.
fucking his ex-wife.
Yeah. So it's a twofold story, right? We got, I don't know if this one talks about, oh yeah, it does. So in the first part, Kim's dating Pete Davidson,
Yeah.
and they've had some interesting text messages. I'm going to click on this link. Is it going to
Very
show it?
funny. I think Pete Davidson's a very hilarious guy.
Oh yeah, he's funny.
Those text
Oh, that's,
messages are very funny.
I can't find them anymore. I had them open a second ago.
I can summarize it basically.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kanye asks him like, "Where you at?" Oh, but Pete Davidson tells him you should stop because he's harassing him. And
Yeah.
then Kanye asks Pete, like, "Where you at?" And then he says, "In bed with your wife," basically,
Oh.
and send him a picture of himself.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so
So he's just
it's a
teasing
pretty
him.
funny. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you told me
So,
that Kanye posted something about like Pete Davidson's grave.
yeah, well, in his music video,
Oh, in his music
like,
video.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
Kanye's getting cucked.
Yeah.
He's a little unhappy. And then somehow this turned into, well, like, what did Trevor Noah do?
He went on his show, Trevor Noah has a show,
Yeah.
and he's saying like, "This is abusive. People are not taking it seriously."
Oh, okay.
And
About
and
Kanye, like,
he
harassing Pete.
yeah,
I see.
yeah. and harassing Kim too, right?
Yeah, and then Kanye had a really weird breakdown where he started using some racial slurs against Trevor Noah.
Gamer words?
Some gamer words, yeah. Something about raccoons. And yeah, they banned him.
I mean, he's a gamer.
They only banned him for 24 hours. Now, if I went on Instagram and I called Kanye a raccoon, I think I might get more than 24 hours.
Yeah.
If anybody noticed. Yeah.
I mean, if he reported you, then you probably get perma banned.
Now, Instagram probably wants Kanye on their platform, so I guess they're a little scared of being too harsh. But
yeah,
you know, good old Kanye. Kanye's been on some weird shit for many years now.
Yeah, he's going crazy. I guess that part of the reason Kim left him, right? It's like, he's going crazy on social media.
Yeah,
he's talking about God, like and he's portraying himself as like some sort of like godlike figure.
Yeah, has he been publicly diagnosed with anything?
I think he's bipolar, right? Isn't it? I think I don't know. I read it somewhere. Maybe I'm just.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, he seems bipolar. Yeah. But he also seems like psychotic, like not connected to reality sometimes. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, he's rich, so.
Does money rot the brain?
Probably.
Should we eat the rich if they are infected with, how you're not supposed to eat like human brain or whatever it gives you?
Yeah, you get like prions.
Yeah. So if we eat the rich, there might be something. There might be something in their blood that's going to infect us all.
Yeah.
Personally, I love the rich. We should reduce taxes and
only for the rich.
Yeah, only for the rich. We should submit to our corporate slaves or slave owners, rather. Ooh, calling Kanye a slave owner.
Before.
That's fine, right? I mean, he definitely has employees, right? Do you think Kanye pays well?
No, there was a.
Does Kanye treat his like bodyguards and shit well? Maybe.
Probably. Like those are, yeah.
I guess the bodyguards are kind of close. Like, what about the guy that brings him his coffee?
Probably treat him like shit. And I mean, like, this is somewhat related, right? Kim had a story coming out that she was telling women out there that they shouldn't be lazy. They should start working.
Just work.
And then, like get their ass up and start working. So I mean, she's a horrible person too. Like, there was people exposing her for like not paying them or treating them like garbage. Well,
her whole family, like to not like to. First of all, their family popped off. They have played this shit very well, and that's like a talent
off a sex tape.
Yep. Yeah, a sex tape and like wasn't her father OJ's lawyer or something, right?
I'm not sure.
Something like that. But yeah, like all the drama, all the reality TV shit. Great job, but I think it was mostly handled by her mother. Right?
Yeah, I mean.
So, it does seem a little detached.
I just think they're in no position to criticize these people not wanting to work or.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like overall, like I mean, I think that they've done a lot of work as a family to get where they are, but I don't think like she personally has had to go through those things. And not to say that you have to experience something to be able to understand it. But I don't think she does. And then to criticize something that you don't understand or that you don't have empathy for is just kind of mean. It's just mean again. Leah Thomas, mean. Kanye, mean. Kim, mean. Bunch of mean people. What about Vladimir Putin? But more importantly, what about McDonald's? Is McDonald's mean for closing on this poor guy?
For sure. I can relate to this guy.
Would you change yourself?
I'm not courageous enough to do this, but I support him. I support his
silent support.
Yeah, from afar, from 100 miles, 100,000 miles away. I support this guy in spirit.
Now, interestingly, for all of the jokes aside, I really haven't seen like an obese Russian like this, like in like anything.
Yeah. It's quite crazy. Like I don't see people like that here as well in
Like if this
Asia.
was America, it would be a news story and they would get like 10,000 upvotes. But since it's in Russia, people are like, "Whoa, like this is unique."
It's very crazy to see like people this fat outside of like North America. Yeah.
Why must we give up our habits? I was hoping there was like a full translation, but apparently he doesn't want to give up his habits. Now, obviously, it's good. It's good for him to give up some of these habits. Hopefully he gets a healthier life.
No way.
No? What do you think? What's he going to replace McDonald's with? What is he eating right now?
I have a good solution.
Yeah. Oh,
The next article.
They're related. The, what is this? BcDonalds? How do we pronounce this letter here?
No idea.
Moscow has invested in a domestic fast food chain. And, totally original logo. Totally original idea. I think this is reasonable. No copyright infringement. Copyright infringement doesn't even exist in Russia, so.
Yeah.
Russian restaurant chain build as a replacement for McDonald's. Their new logo. Uncle Vanya franchise filed last week. It's closing all 847. That's it. How many McDonald's do you think are in America?
This is hard.
I'm gonna say, oh man, I could be way off, eh?
Yeah,
damn, only
80,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 80,000.
I'll lowball it and say 50.
Okay. This is
Oh my god.
Only
14,000. Wait, you scammed me. Originally, I was thinking 25,000, and then when you said 80, I doubted myself.
When I was in Canada,
no, this one says 18,000.
The place I stayed, there's 4 McDonald's in like walking distance of like 15 minutes. 15-minute walking distance. There's 4.
Yeah.
How many?
Now this is
25
people per McDonald's. So US is number 1. For every 25,000 people, there's 1 McDonald's.
Go in there so we can see the list of the rankings.
Yeah, so US, Canada, we're close behind. Even though
we have a very low population.
Yeah. Puerto Rico.
Oh, wait. That's not true. No. You have to go scroll up and then. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Oh wait, there was
United
this one.
States. Those are.
Oh, but it's because the country is so small.
Yeah, Macau.
I see. Let's just go by raw numbers. Yeah, so US is 13,257 apparently, and then China's second with 3,500.
And Japan.
2,900 in Japan, 1,500 in France. There's not a
lot of here.
Now I've heard from our German friend that the McDonald's in Germany are like marketed as not like cheap, you know, like they're kind of higher end.
Yeah. I mean,
so I guess per country it's going to be different. Like I don't really know how good the McDonald's are in US compared to Canada, for example. Like are they the same? I don't really know.
They're way better in the US.
Oh, you think so?
In terms of like value, oh my god, so much cheaper. I went to Vegas and I was like, it was like 2 a.m.
Oh yeah.
I was too lazy to go get like real food. There's a McDonald's like downstairs of I think I don't know, like just downstairs.
Yeah.
And then it was so cheap, like the McNuggets, like the dollar menu. You know, it's $2 in Canadian McDonald's for the value menu. It's it's like 99 cents in the US. It's so much cheaper. Like everything is so much cheaper in my opinion. Like 20 nuggets for like $5.
Yeah, it's a lot here. The mayor of Moscow said domestic chains could replace the 250 McDonald's restaurants in the capital within a year. The replacements would be preferable to the US giant as 99% of their ingredients would be Russia. 500 million rubles. Whenever they put these currency conversions, it's like 500 million. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, it's a big line here.
Yeah. I mean, they're selling like Big Macs for like $50, 50 US dollars.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, oh, it's closing. Oh my God, it's closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daily Beast contributing editor told that Putin has people tasting his food, tasting his McDonald's before he eats it. And last month he replaced his entire staff. Now we've been hearing, I just left this one up because to talk about the propaganda.
Yeah.
Like we hear shit like this all the time. And then we also hear that the Russian forces are like stabilizing and that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Let me close all this. So
and they shot a thermal bear like around.
Yeah.
There's a confirmation, I'm pretty sure.
So on one side, you have this picture that the Russian oligarchy is getting tired of Putin. The people are protesting. Putin's paranoid. He's going to be killed. He's going to be overthrown. And then on the other side, you have like 80% of Russians support the war. The Russian war effort is stabilizing. They're going to be encircling these cities and besieging them.
Yeah.
And they're totally going to choke them out. Now, in general, obviously, you know, the old saying goes that the truth is somewhere in the middle of those two.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think, first of all, of the domestic? Do you think that Putin's position is under threat? Do you think they will get tired of this shit and kill him? Or try to?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think if there's actual credible threat, the US would probably publish like somewhat more alarming like intelligence. But I don't think there's a lot of reports of what's happening in Russia is coming out of Ukrainian intelligence.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's kind of garbage.
Yeah, and it's like majority of them is gonna be propaganda.
Okay.
And then
so that's all speculation. I mean, yeah, somebody could kill him tomorrow, but I mean, it's whatever, right? Now, on the war front, which is still speculation, but there's more information. You know, it seems like Russia has, at least compared to where it seemed like they were trying to move forward and failing, now it seems like they're trying to hunker down and like try to establish some good positions, and then
I think they are advancing, right? They're starting to bomb Kiev. They haven't bombed Kiev before.
Yeah,
a
little bit.
They're destroying what's a city called? The Mariupol. Yeah, I think
they said
like
that everybody needs to
the
evacuate or they're going to kill whoever's left, something like that.
Yeah, the US style, right? Evacuate this place or you'll be like counted as a combatant, right? And then we'll bomb the whole thing, right? But I mean, they're already bombing it pretty hard. I think
well, yeah, that city is
article I
toast.
saw,
That city is
80% of the building
gone.
are fucked.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they've made much progress elsewhere, and there's a lot of talk of them trying to encircle this, encircle that. I heard some people comparing it to the siege of Stalingrad, but apparently, which I didn't know, like Kiev is fucking huge. Apparently. And it goes back to the same idea that from the serious analysts that I've tried to get information from, they seem to think that there's not enough manpower to encircle and siege a city of that size.
Yeah, but I think they still have enough, like, just in terms of like bombs, right? Like
maybe
ammunitions.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I would assume Russia is like considered a superpower because of those insane amount of just arsenal.
I have no idea. Like, how many munitions can they really afford to expend? And you also have to think that this is real money. Like, this is money being spent, right?
Yeah.
Is it worth them to spend $100 million on blowing up this building? Is it worth it to spend $1 billion blowing up the street? Like,
see, he's already in too deep, right? He's like, I'm gambling I'm playing a mobile phone, rolling for my wife. I already spent $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop. If I stop and I didn't get her, I wasted that
Yeah,
$1,000.
yeah, yeah.
If I spend that 1,000, I get her.
Yeah, then
Sure, it costs a
if I stop
lot,
now, I
but I got
wasted
it.
1,000. But if I keep
Mhm.
going, then I well spent 2,000.
Exactly. So
Mm.
even if Poon go bankrupt, at least he got Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
He can always
Yeah.
recoup some of the money once he get Ukraine, like all the oil,
Yeah.
like in Black Sea at Black Sea. Like, I think he's in too deep to stop now. So yeah,
Yeah, I think
he will
that's
probably
reasonable.
go.
I mean, I think this next week will be really telling in terms of like, can they
Yeah,
actually besiege these? Because you also have to think that, again, Ukraine's getting a lot of weaponry. And
for
I
sure,
started
for
to see the
sure.
first videos of like domestic bombing of Russian positions in Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, those have
and
only just started now. Like, that's the kind of the first time you see them like
yeah,
bombing a Russian base within the country.
and and US is giving them like the drone.
Yeah.
Not the, I don't think it's called the
Yeah,
drone.
yeah. It's
It's
like
called
yeah,
like
I know what you're referring to. It's like
it's like a
a weird,
missile,
yeah,
but as
drone
a
slash
drone.
missile, fucking
Yeah,
guided
yeah, yeah.
missile. Yeah,
It's kind of cool. I watched a video
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those things are fucking
I think
crazy.
they
First
count
of
as,
all, like, I mean, dude, being in a tank or like whatever is so fucking scary right now.
yeah,
See
move
your
too
shit blown
slow
up
and then
whenever, fucking just randomly
yeah.
from the sky.
There's so many combat footage that
Yeah,
it's not okay to show, I guess, and
yeah, yeah, no,
it's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, like I don't really know. I mean, at first it looked like Russia was going to suffer heavy losses and make a really bad decision, but that they would win kind of within a couple weeks. Then it seemed really bad. It seemed like they couldn't even hold their positions, all their supply lines were fucked, and that they might even just totally fall apart. And now it's
yeah.
kind of in the middle. Now it looks like they have some positions, but maybe they're not great. I don't know. I don't know. I think
Mm.
I'm leaning on the side still that they don't have enough troops and that they're not willing to or able to totally level every city.
I think they're going with the like Middle East strategy. Just make it a place where you don't want to live, right? Like just bomb everything,
Well, you just turn it
right?
into a
It's
shithole.
yeah. They're
Well, it's like
basically
the same
doing
thing
that
that
in a
they did
couple
in Chechnya,
cities.
right?
Yeah.
They suffered heavy losses, they had a really hard time, but then eventually they just fucking bombed everything and enough. And
And I think that's their strategy going forward. They will try to maybe like I think their first like strategy was to just capture
Kiev.
Zelensky
Yeah,
and then yeah, capture Kiev and then have minimal damage done and just control the whole country.
yeah,
But now I feel like they know they're losing. They're gonna just level cities, right? And they were shooting some Barrack missiles,
yeah,
and then that's like just kind of insane. And then there was like
yeah.
a huge bombing yesterday at Kiev,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I think that's in my opinion, I'm not an expert at obviously, but I think that looks like the new route they're going
Yeah,
for. Just level the
yeah.
cities.
I think they could definitely level the cities. I think they could definitely try, like, in the next week, maybe nothing will happen. Maybe they're just gonna try to play the slow, like, siege them and
Make
choke them out game. I mean,
Dude, maybe Poon watches our podcast, and then
mm.
he's gonna make me lose the bet. Wait till the queen dies,
Oh yeah.
then
Oh yeah,
surrender.
that's the other thing. You predicted that the queen was gonna die
Yeah.
after the war, but now it says that she's having some difficulties walking, health fears,
Yeah, they say she might not go back to the castle
not gonna go back
ever.
to the castle, she's not going to the memorial, potentially.
Man,
She might not make
I
it,
hope
man.
she doesn't die.
Yeah, she was, as far as I understood, her personally was. Oh no, no, I'm thinking of Diana, right? Was the one that handled all the like AIDS, was the first person to like shake a AIDS
Yeah,
patient.
yeah, yeah,
Wait, so how was
yeah.
it? Was Queen Elizabeth like good or bad? Like I don't really know.
I mean,
Is she a
she
good
killed
person?
Diana, not
Oh,
allegedly.
allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly,
Yeah,
yeah.
she allegedly brutally
Well,
murdered Diana and her husband or her fiance or
and
whatever the fuck.
I don't think it's is it a
How were they
fiance?
just dating?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
imagine
you know,
if the
car
Saudi
accident.
royal family and the British royal family got married. Man, wouldn't that be a good thing for the world?
Probably not.
You don't
I
think
think there would
so?
be
What
like
if
a
Diana,
lot
like,
of.
because Diana seemed like a genuinely nice person, right? So then
Mhm.
if she married into the Saudi royal family, like, what if she was able to, like, indoctrinate them to be nicer?
Probably, I don't think so. I think there's such a male-dominated world, like a patriarchy.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what if they abuse her, right? I think like there will only be problems stemming out of the marriage.
I
Like,
mean, it
there won't
depends,
be
right? It
like
could go either way. Like as we've seen with Prince Harry and
sure,
Meghan, right? They like
yeah,
left
yeah,
the
yeah.
family. So
But
maybe
there's so
Diana and that
much
guy would have just left.
animosity.
Yeah, maybe they just would have left
Yeah,
the family.
yeah, and that won't like progress, right? Like
Yeah,
so I doubt it. Like even as
yeah.
like it's such a progressive world, right? And then what's her name? Megan Merkel
Yeah.
or whatever. And like, how are there still people that racist against this marriage? What?
Oh, is
And
that a
it's
thing? Is it because she's not
yeah,
like fully white or whatever? Is she half
yeah.
white or totally foreign?
I think she's like half black and half white.
Oh, I didn't even know it
I
was a
think
race. I didn't really keep up with it.
there's so many racist people. Like
Is that why they
the
left the family? Why
tabloids.
did they leave the family?
I'm not sure why. I
Hmm.
think there's just like there's just problems, but I mean like
Yeah.
just average people. Like
Normie
there's so
problems.
many. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people are fucking racist freaks. I mean, what are you gonna do? But that's crazy.
Yeah,
Speaking of racist freaks, good
yeah,
old Jussie spent
yeah.
what, 6 days in jail?
6 days only.
Yeah, fake a hate
Insane.
crime, incite violence, potentially frame people for the crime. Say it's because you're gay, because you're black. You're inciting violence and hatred and like increasing public like hostilities between all sorts of groups of people. You get
Yeah.
convicted of 150 days in prison, even though the judge was stated as saying each one of these 5 charges could serve 1 to 3 years. One of these 5 felonies could serve 1 to 3 years in prison. He only got 150 days for all 5 of them, and then
Yep.
he was able to appeal it or whatever, and then be released while it's on appeal.
Yeah, he
This
didn't.
guy's
It's not
fucking
even in
face.
appeal yet. He's saying that the wait on appeal would be too long,
Yeah,
and that he should be released. And then because if you wait on appeal while in prison, he would just serve the time, right? Rather than just what if he wins the appeal? But that's such a bullshit
yeah,
argument, like right? It
that's
doesn't work
crazy.
for any.
I mean, this
Yeah,
is rich people like who, when people say the system is corrupt and broken, this is a good example of
sure,
it.
for sure. Yeah, this is just like rich people bullshit, right? Like
Yeah.
you're rich enough to get good lawyers,
Yeah, his team
and they
argued
probably have
that his crime was
connections.
low-level, non-violent. Now, I disagree with this. I think his crime definitely could cause a lot of violence.
Hmm.
His health and safety are in danger in prison. I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Why he'd been imprisoned after a previous prosecutor dropped the charges? I don't know, because he's guilty?
Mhm.
Should black men be walked into jail? So they turned it into a race thing.
For sure.
Should
It's
black
like
men
they're.
be walked into jail for a class
I mean,
4
that's the
felony?
only card that they play
Shame
in the
on
whole
you if
trial.
you think they should. It's a disgrace. I mean, this guy is
Mhm.
causing a serious fucking issue.
Yeah.
Do I think, again, like forgetting about Juicy or whatever, if you are
Hmm.
inciting hatred or violence, do I think you should be seriously like in prison? Like, on one hand, I think that prison for only violent offenders is a good idea, and that levels of
Yeah.
rehabilitation are important. On the other hand, if you're a non-violent offender inciting violence, do we really want them to just be able to be free and like continue to like quietly incite violence? Like, isn't that sort of like a loophole?
Yeah.
Like, isn't it
And
kind
I
of,
think a
it's like
big
Charles
problem I have.
Manson, right?
Yeah, yeah. And a big problem I have with him is he is basically downplaying the severity of his action.
Yeah,
That
it's very fucking serious.
yeah, just because it's a class 4 felony, it's
Yeah,
still
well,
a
yeah, like
felony.
why are you reducing it to this weird phrase? Like, shut up.
Yeah,
The
and
actor who's
it's not
black and
about
gay
race.
said the attackers had shouted slurs, Trump slogans, dumped chemicals on him, and tied a noose around his neck. Like, how is that
And
not inciting all sorts of fucking bullshit?
and he will only hurt the people with real, like, he'll
Yeah,
hurt
people with
people
real
that's like,
issues, real assaults, real
yeah,
violence
there's
have
real
less.
victim of hate crime,
Yeah, they have
and they
less.
will get hurt because of this.
Yeah, credibility. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
I think it's a pretty serious crime, and
Yeah,
this is simple, right? This is a rich people shit, right? Like,
yeah.
I get a lawyer, and that's the only card they play in the whole trial because he is there's insane amount of proof that he's a liar,
Oh, of course.
and he still keeps lying. The judge says there's so many counts of perjury that they could charge him with. And the
Yeah,
only
and they
card they
should.
play is the race card, right?
Yeah,
Oh, you're putting a black man in jail. Like, you're hurting all those people, all those black people that are innocent that got put
yeah,
in jail because you are actually guilty. Those people are actually innocent.
yeah,
No, you're hurting their credibility because people will point to your case, be like, you see, this guy is obviously guilty, but he's playing the race card, and
yeah.
you guys are the same.
Yeah, you guys
But
are just trying to play
in
the race
reality,
card like Juicy.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're not. But because of you, now their credibility got hurt.
yeah.
So
No, it's
I
horrible.
think it's yeah,
There's definitely real world, very serious consequences for this sort of behavior, and I'm
mhm,
sure a couple people's lives have been seriously negatively
yeah. And he's
impacted.
hurting his own people too, right? He's trying
Yeah,
to play the race card, like, we have a solidarity with my race, and then, but in reality, you're hurting your
yeah.
own
He's
race.
being
Like, you hurt,
racist by
yeah,
making it like about race. Like it's like this weird like self racism. This whole thing is
mhm,
fucking crazy.
yeah,
It's
I
so fucking
definitely,
weird.
yeah.
Anyway, my hot take about this is that Juicy Smollett and Charles Manson are the same type of people. That'll be my hot take.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So what did I say so far? Leah Thomas is a bitch. Uh,
No, you. Oh, okay, sure.
Juicy is
You
Charles
said they're
Manson.
mean. Yeah,
What was the third one? I said something else
it's,
too.
you said Kanye is mean.
Oh yeah,
Kim is
Kanye.
mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a
Okay. One down. Well, we'll do that one last because we'll talk about guns. Chinese Boeing crashes with 132 on board. So again, a Boeing. Now I looked into this a bit. Apparently, this plane doesn't have the MCAS system that was causing this.
yeah. This is an older version, I think. Like 800.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the plane was made in 2015. I don't think the plane's particularly old or anything, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't use
Just
that
the
system.
version of the yeah,
Oh yeah, predecessor to the 737 model.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um Now I saw a video. I don't know if you saw it, but like
I
there's
saw.
yeah, yeah.
It
So it
looked like
was
the plane had no wings left, and
yeah,
it was
it
going
went
straight
straight
down.
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
it's
Surprising,
kind of
unfortunate.
crazy.
Definitely
Yeah,
fucking terrifying. Like thank God. Fuck man, what a nightmare.
yeah.
Um
It's very sad.
yeah. I wonder if when or if they'll be able to figure out what happened because that looked like a really weird. I mean
Yeah,
like straight nosedive to the earth? Like is that
I
like a
mean, there's
pilot
black box,
suicide?
right?
Well yeah, hopefully.
I think those things should help. Hopefully.
Yeah. Because some people are thinking like, I mean, how does this even happen? And then people were saying like it could be totally innocent. It could be like a horizontal stabilization.
Because it's supposed to, like, the plane are supposed to glide once you lose your engine, you lose your power, you lose
Yeah,
everything. It's
yeah,
supposed to glide, but it went straight down, so it looks
yeah.
like
That's why
he
other people
just
were saying it might have been like a pilot suicide or some sort of like intentional.
yeah, or like the wings just broke for no reason, or maybe
Yeah,
there's
maybe. Well, you
yeah,
never know, right? Like it could be a total mechanical
yeah,
failure. It could be bad maintenance. I mean, again, hopefully
yeah, yeah,
we'll find out. But this is really bad. I mean,
yeah. It's
yeah, there's been a lot of
this
pain
one,
because I mean, especially like these last like 5 or 10 years, like still flying is very safe. But we've had like a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
planes
yeah.
shot down, one by Russia, one by Iran. We've had 3 Boeings crash now.
Mhm.
There was that Malaysian flight a long time ago. I don't know. Did they ever find out why that happened?
No, but they found like parts of the plane, like
Yeah,
going like towards like Africa, like
yeah,
in Madagascar,
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
there. I don't know if Madagascar counts as part of Africa. Maybe it does. I'm not
I
good with
think
geography.
so. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think
at least they don't get nuked in World War III. But yeah, that's
who
horrible shit.
knows, you know.
It was a 2-hour flight too, man. Like fuck.
Yeah.
Netflix
Crazy.
is going to prompt subscribers to pay for users outside their households in a new test.
Yeah.
So this
This
is weird because doesn't
because
this motivate everybody to do this? Like if you're gonna get charged for it anyway, then why not like have everybody get rid of their Netflix and like as many people as possible pile onto one on a discount?
yeah, I think that's I guess more
Because I could
reasonable.
buy
I think
Netflix for $16 and then sell it for $3. But then I guess you still have to trust them with your password. So,
yeah.
but I don't know how can they prove this or enforce this? Like they limit the IPs that you're using.
I think so, right? If you have extra IP using it, and they will just charge you extra.
Yeah. Testing out the
And I
ability to
think
let subs transfer profiles to new accounts. No guarantee the option to pay for non-household members will end up a permanent part of the service. I mean,
it probably will. And make them money, it will.
yeah.
I think it's a fucked up thing. Like they already increased the price this
Yeah,
year. And
Netflix is really struggling. Like I appreciate the costs of things. I like that Netflix produces a lot of their own content. I don't think the content's very high quality in a lot of cases, but I appreciate the streaming model. I appreciate what they've been trying to do. I understand that there's costs and expenses, but the timing, the way they go about it, what they have to offer, it's looking like it might really be very fucking bad for them very
yeah,
soon. I think it's reaching a
there's
point where it's like,
stock prices went down
yeah,
because
I think
like
it's
they
reaching
didn't
a point
hit
where people are
target.
not going to be on board with this anymore.
There's too many streaming services, and they're not that
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
They
we
don't
talked about
have
it
the
last time.
catalog
You
to
know,
back
like
it up.
Disney Plus is good
Yeah.
for kids.
Yeah.
Netflix is kind of good overall, but maybe questionable. And then HBO Max has some like very good productions, but not a ton of
Titles. Yeah.
content.
I
So, I
think
mean, like if HBO and Netflix kind of join forces to fight Disney, something along those lines.
I don't think it'll work. I think
Yeah,
it's
I
still
think they're too greedy. I think that they
and
should. I don't
also
think that they will.
they don't have enough content like that has a longevity for people to actually want to subscribe because say
Yeah.
even if I really like Netflix titles, right?
Yeah.
I can wait a whole year and then subscribe like say December and then watch all the show I want and then
Yeah.
unsubscribe.
I think that's
Like there's
part of why
no
they're raising prices to such an amount is that they kind of
yeah.
expect people to subscribe like 1 month a year or a couple months a year.
Yeah.
So
I
then,
think
if
that's
I think, okay, I'm paying $17 for, a month straight of all the shit I ever wanted to watch. I mean, that's not bad at all. I mean, I used to
yeah.
have to fucking, dude, I'm a boomer. I used to go rent movies for like $6 or $8 or whatever the fuck. Like that shit was expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
I'm also saying people will just pirate, or there's tons of free streaming services, like I guess the illegal streaming services out there.
very
Like you
illegal.
don't have
I
to,
would never use such a thing.
yeah, you don't have to torrent those. Like you don't have to save the high seas to download those. There's streaming
Yeah.
services out there that you can just stream online.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people will turn to those because not every like
Well,
the
yeah, they're also
content they're
poor.
producing, yeah,
Yeah.
and the content they're producing is not that high quality, and
Wait, I
then
mean, even if it was, there's just some people that cannot afford an extra 20 bucks,
yeah,
or they feel like they can't afford an extra 20 bucks.
yeah.
$20 is a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah,
And,
I
if you
think
don't
they're
have
just not
friends, if you don't have
offering
friends
enough.
to split it 5 ways. But now if you
Yeah.
do have friends, now you're going to have to
Mhm.
pay 30 bucks or 40 bucks instead. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like Spotify has like the family program, right? You can have up to 6 members,
Yeah.
and it costs you what in Canada. The plan I have is in Canada. I should probably swap. I don't know if it's cheaper here, but the plan I have in Canada is $16 Canadian a
Mm.
month
Mm.
for 6 people, which is very worth, right? I'm using it for my family, and
Well, yeah, of course, a couple
um,
bucks and you get to listen. I mean, Spotify has like some great high quality music. They got
They don't
some
support
good
all the rest of
podcasts. Not the best
Spotify.
podcasts, like we're not on Spotify, but
Why aren't we on Spotify? We should be on
yeah.
Spotify.
Can I just like
You should
upload
try
it
to look
randomly
at those.
without any
I'm
requirements?
sure we can, right?
Yeah.
I think we probably
I was
can.
thinking about putting it on the Apple one, Spotify. I think there's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
other popular one, but I don't know if I'll bother with that.
And I just think like the Spotify, they when they increase the price by $1,
Yeah.
which is not a lot, because it's split 6 ways, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
16
I
cents.
yeah, I was okay with it,
Yeah.
and but when it comes to streaming services, I feel like they don't. I don't
Wait, it's
use
like
it enough.
Spotify. You can listen to the same songs all the time. You make a big
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
playlist. You play it every day. Like there's replay value.
yeah, and they offer a lot of like I think decent stuff like offline
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
just a
Well, it's
lot
the
of
thing,
stuff
right? It's like
that
Netflix. Like if they had like The Office and like things like Game of Thrones and like 6 Feet
yeah, yeah,
Under, The Wire, Sopranos. Like if you had all of these, then it's
yeah, yeah.
fine. But you
The
don't.
catalog is weak
Yeah.
and the original is not
Yeah, they
great.
wasted a
So
lot of money and talent on some like very mediocre productions.
and they always kill their shows after 2 seasons at most. Sometimes just
Yeah,
1 season, even it's
yeah.
popular.
I
I
read
just
something
hate
about
it.
that being like that apparently they want things to be popular in other regions because they feel like they're not going to lose their American subscribers, some shit like this, but you will lose your
Mm,
American subscribers. It is a bad decision. It's very short term thing. It sounds like it's very short term. I might be misinformed, but it
yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
it's a bad way to think.
Yeah, but it won't affect me anymore because I'm a I'm not using I still
Yeah.
use Prime Video.
Mm.
They have some decent title, but since I'm not in the country, I
Yeah.
get some titles blocked.
Oh yeah.
I'm too lazy to
I
use
mean,
VPN.
Prime is a good. It depending on
Yeah,
the country you live in, especially if you're American. Prime is
yeah,
like
yeah,
a good value subscription. You get if you're using all
yeah,
their products, you get some music, you get some videos, you get the stuff on Twitch if you use Twitch or play games, you get
yeah. 2 day shipping,
deliveries.
same day
Yeah.
delivery.
And that's like what makes a good service, right? Like something and it's only like $10 a month or less depending on, where you live and if you have a student discount and all these things.
Yeah,
So
man, I wish Amazon would like join the market here. Like we have like some dog shit.
oh, Amazon
Like
doesn't exist in Taiwan?
no, so that
Mm,
sucks.
that's a
I think the
shame.
only country they're in Asia is Japan.
Mm.
They're not. I think the market is too small for them
Oh yeah.
here in Taiwan,
Mm.
so they don't. So we have like garbage ones, like the one from Singapore,
Oh
and
yeah.
like it's just there's no like the quality is just not as good. But the good thing about online shopping here in Taiwan is like basically you get it same day anywhere. This is a small
Mm.
island.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
so that's a good thing. But the quality, also because we live so close to China, there's so many products that's just like fake fake stuff from
Oh,
China.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So it's
the
like
the rip-offs.
yeah, and just oh my god, there's no quality assurance and
Mm.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Maury Povich retires, ending a 31 season run of revealing who is the father.
Oh my god, I have such fond memory of this show.
Yeah.
It's a very like entertaining show. I think even it's not real. Like a lot of stuff is not real, but I think it's an entertaining show. I think a lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
Like they say it's like a garbage or whatever.
Exploitation. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a decent show. It's at least in terms of entertainment purpose, it's one of the better show out there compared to a lot of
So
like
so what
game
did you
shows
like so
out
much
there.
about it?
I think the build up, like the storytelling,
Yeah.
right?
You're
It's
curious. You don't know the answer.
yeah, and
You want to see the
like
miserable and the happy reaction.
yeah, and they always have like a long, sad, sometimes funny like story, like how it's always like a sour relationship, right? And then whether it's like another person in the relationship or there's a
Mm-hmm.
breakup or divorce, and then the pregnancy, right? Because there's always a kid,
Yeah.
and the truth always comes out because like whether the kid is yours or not, and if it is, because both side will state their lie, right? Well, not one side will state a lie, one side will say a truth, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know who's telling the truth
Mm-hmm.
until the end, and it's always like the
But it's always
buildup is
interesting
so
to see
great.
these like honesty reality TV. Again, hopefully it's not all scripted, so that you can actually see like how people behave when they're lying or not, or like
Yeah, yeah.
if you're
I'm
good
sure
at telling who's lying or not.
it's mostly scripted, but I think it's
Yeah.
still entertaining just to look at like the
Yeah. I mean,
performance,
hopefully some of it's real. I
right?
mean, obviously it's entertaining either way, but
Yeah, 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 yeah,
you
for
want
sure.
higher stakes. 6 years ago, when I was ready to retire, the NBC Universal family. Okay, so this is NBCnews.com talking about NBC Universal. They can't even fucking spell check the fucking thing.
You should be the editor.
I told him I was ready for assisted living. Oh shit. Wait, how old is he?
Probably like 80, 75,
83.
83. Yeah.
I always thought he looked like he was
He
kind
looks
of
pretty
healthy
young.
and yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Like only his skin looks old, but like at least
yeah.
like his overall like
Yeah, he might just want to relax.
manner.
Like assisted living doesn't always mean you need it. He has the money for it, so may as well have people do stuff for
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And I mean, he's old, definitely in makeup in that picture right, on the right.
Yeah, yeah, of course. All
So
these fucking
he's
things.
definitely old, but he
Yeah,
looks good for 83, in my opinion.
yeah. Now,
Yeah,
was the show canceled or did he retire?
I think it's canceled, but
Mm,
they let him say retire,
yeah, yeah.
right? So yeah.
Well, good show, and maybe Netflix will get to 31 years, and then people will subscribe to Netflix.
Okay, I will subscribe for 1 month if they do have
You can
all the
watch all
Jerry
31
Springer
years in 1 month.
and the Maury show.
Yeah, fucking Jerry,
Yeah,
man.
Jerry is also really funny. I think.
Yeah, yeah. A lot more dramatic.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot
and
more
the audience is
fights.
more hype.
Yeah, yeah. So this one was very interesting and very controversial.
Yeah,
Technologist and maintainer of popular piece of open software. Does it say what software? Node IPC, networking tool that's downloaded over 1 million times a week.
sometimes
Um,
sometimes over 1 million times a week.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
he changed the source code on this that if you were on a Belarusian or Russian IP, it would,
wipe your PC, I think. Wipe
yeah.
some files at least.
This code serves as a non-destructive example of why controlling your node modules is important. It serves as a non-violent protest against Russia's aggression that threatens the world right now. This module will add a message of peace on the user's desktop. It only does so if it does not already exist, just to be polite.
I think that's his excuse, but I think people found out he actually pushed like a real malware to delete people's file. Like he's saying,
He
"Oh,
told
I
Motherboard
only
in an email
created."
that there was no code to wipe computers, it only puts a file on the desktop.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that's a lie. I'm pretty sure people found out um that he actually pushed the update, one of the update.
Thanks for all the
But
free pizza. Thanks to all the police that showed up to swat me. Apparently a lot of people were really pissed off about this
yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah. I think he didn't just put the like a text message on
Mm.
the profile. I think he did actually push like a file wiping
You're a
code or
stain on
something.
the open source community. You destroyed your work, career, and your online life.
Mhm.
So, I agree with the outroar. I hate when anybody in any sort of position of power does something this sort of like self-serving. You're basically forcing your message onto
Yeah, I
everybody.
don't think this thing should be weaponized at least.
Yeah. There's like a very famous example of when one of the Reddit admins got triggered that he started like people were typing fuck you to him and he started editing their comments to make it say fuck you to like Trump or somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's like this sort of like power tripping behavior, even if he was only putting a text box malware, sort of like, well, it's not even a malware thing. It's like, yeah, it's your software, but you're hitting a lot of unwitting people with, you're like dragging them into the situation. And that's like against the spirit of what open source content is. And of course, he can make the argument like you should always read your files before you download them and you should get them checked and stuff. And yeah, that's true as well. Like, it is also these people's fault.
Yeah.
But it's also just scummy to do, and
show you a picture of the. So apparently people found out that he did add a malicious code.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's a fucking liar, a gaslighter, and fuck him.
Yeah. And I think I'm not a coder, so I don't really know how their space works, but I just think it's kind of scummy that you're using your
well, yeah, like if you had a little pop-up like when people are downloading the program or installing it and you wanted to put a message there or something, like that's appropriate. Or like on the website or something, you can still speak your mind. You could take your stuff down and protest. You could do this, you could do that. But like sneaking something into the program and like all this, like it's very against what the open source stuff really is.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal, right? I'm pretty sure it's illegal to push like malware onto like just spreading malware.
If it's, I mean, I guess what by definition constitutes malware.
Yeah, but also
and when you're downloading open source stuff, it doesn't you like lose all liability because the code is all there. It's your fault. Like if I post something called malware and you download it, that's not my fault,
I think it's still your fault, right? You're distributing it. I think that's the thing. But if it's not like if you're just downloading something that's like not actively harmful, but like just garbage code or whatever, I think that's on the problem of people reading.
Yeah, you might be right.
I'm not sure. Like I'm not an expert in the field, so I don't know. We have an expert, right? The Bolivian guy.
Oh yeah. We'll have to consult our Bolivian informant.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it's scummy. I think people being really pissed off about it is, in most cases, a bit much. But in this case, because it's specifically the open source community, again, this damages it's like the same. It's like the Jussie thing again. You're damaging a lot of like the community. You're damaging other people. You're making people trust open source stuff less. You're just causing a lot of problems. Now, these problems aren't anywhere as serious as the Jussie situation, but it's a similar sort of fallout where like, well, now when I go download open source software, like maybe I'll think about it a little bit more.
For sure. Yeah.
And maybe people who are supporting open source software will provide less money to these people, which will make less programs available to people who need them, and stuff like that. I mean, it's like the biggest example of a serious application of this is the like dark web stuff where people in oppressed countries and like reporters and informants can use the like Tor network to communicate safely, right? And that's like an open source project, I
don't even
think.
know if they can do it safely anymore. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of the
there's a lot of back and forth. Like it's like a constant battle, right?
Yeah,
I do think that the battle for encryption is a lot easier than the battle to break it because we can just use bigger numbers and like more complex algorithms, What's that phone app that's really popular? Signal? Is that
Telegram?
Telegram? No. Signal's the encrypted one, right?
I think Telegram is also encrypted.
Oh. But regardless, it's like I don't know if cracking something like Signal is even possible, like without access to the devices, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but because you also have like the Pegasus thing, right?
Well, yeah, there's always exploits, but assuming that your software is well maintained, I think in a lot of cases it can be more or less impossible to break into because it's just We don't have
I
the
mean,
computing
eventually
power.
someone will be. They will have if someone has a more powerful like computers, right? Like
Well, yeah. Well,
computing
that's what I mean. I
powers.
think they're trying to future-proof them to the point where it's like there will never
I
be that
guess.
much computing power in
I
the
guess.
universe type of thing.
Who
Because you can just
knows?
make it longer. You know, you can just use 1,000-bit digits. You can use 100,000 digits. Like you can make it
What if
arbitrarily.
there's alien tech out there that you don't know,
Oh,
right?
that's
The
true.
government's hiding,
Yeah, the
right?
quantum computers are gonna crack all the encryptions.
Exactly. And they will spill backdoors for those things. So I think
Yeah.
hard.
So the last thing was the car show gunfight. Now, I was under the impression that this was just two people and, um, yeah, two individuals got into a gunfight and then everybody was just like random stray casualties.
I see.
Uh, Children, some very young children, like, I mean, a really horrible situation. Um, but overall, I don't think this story is particularly related to anything. I think just two people were being fucking
Mhm.
regarded.
I do support gun rights.
Yeah. So let's
Honestly,
talk about gun rights and why do you support them?
I mean, in terms of USA, I think it's already too late.
Yeah, but let's say
Like
we're building a
to
new
have it.
country. Do you want there
I
to be a
think
right to bear arms?
I think at the beginning I would say no, but
Hmm.
as it goes, I guess my I, I might change my mind like towards
Yeah.
like what
From
US has because once the criminal has gone too many, right? Like it's gone too dangerous like for a citizen to not bear arms, then I think it should just be legal, right? I think anything should be legal if it's like regulated, right? Like you have to have like I'm saying like so many
well,
times. I'm
yeah,
just saying like you should
I think
have
that's one of the
like mental
prevailing.
checks and then background checks.
Yeah, I
Just
think
a
that's one of the
lot of
prevailing
layers.
arguments that there's a lot of guns in other countries, but because of the regulations and the way
Yeah,
those
yeah.
guns
I
are
think as
handled,
long as regulated,
yeah.
anything should be legal, even like drugs,
Oh yeah, I agree.
prostitution. I
Yeah, of
think
course.
everything should be legal, just
Yeah,
regulated, and
yeah.
it will be better run than
Yeah, it's safer, it's
like a
healthier, it's
yeah,
better, it's
yeah,
more accessible, it's, you're not getting involved in criminal activity. Like, you're just some lonely guy and you don't know what to do, so you want to pay for sex. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But now you're suddenly a criminal and like a sex offender or like whatever the fuck. Like, why? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I think having the right to bear arms is important. I think it also helps with like oppressive governments. Like
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a lot harder for to ever imagine that the US government could like start oppressing all the citizens. Like I think that's one of the best things about America.
For
That
sure.
their ideals of freedom are actually a really good thing. I disagree with some of the applications of it, like Texas and Florida kind of.
Yeah, I think some are too lax. Like the gun
Yeah.
shows, a lot of gun shows, you can just go down there and buy a gun. I think that's too lax. I think there should be more the background checks. I don't think it
Yeah.
should be a very strict regulation, but I think there should be some regulation at least.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And on the other side, I think owning weapons and having guns everywhere is a bit uncomfortable. And I mean, it makes me uncomfortable, but that's just like my personal reaction to it. But I don't know if it's like inherently bad or anything. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think
I mean, learning how to
right to bear arms.
use a gun and having a gun in my house, I mean, it would be okay,
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm just saying, if I'm in the US, I would definitely buy a gun myself.
But yeah, see, isn't that part of the problem? Because there's so many guns that you're like scared and you want a gun, and then
Yeah, I think it's already too late, like I said, right? So I think
yeah,
that you might as well get a
yeah.
gun.
Well, that's what I
Like,
mean. That's why I'm thinking from like a new country perspective, like because
yeah, yeah,
Australia
yeah.
went the other way. Australia had like a really bad mass shooting, And then they spent like $500 million buying back all the guns they could and like had really harsh gun law, and it went really well for them. And then I think there's some Nordic countries that have like really like a lot of gun ownership, and it's gone really well for them, you know. So different systems can work. Different cultures obviously handle different things differently as well. I don't know if there's really a right answer, but
yeah, I'm just saying it's my opinion. I do support in
yeah,
theory.
yeah.
Even
I
if
think
it's a
both
new
are fine
country.
as long as, like you said, like it's gone about in an appropriate way. And I do think that the prevalence of easy to access weaponry in the U.S. does cause more violent crime. So
I tend to agree it does, but I think it's if you remove it now, it will only cost even more.
yeah, you might be
Once you
right
like
that they can't do the like Australian strategy because they're in too
yeah.
deep.
I mean, they do have buyback programs, right? Like no question asked.
Yeah,
I see them
yeah,
sometimes, right? Like you can just
mm,
sell back to the police,
yeah.
and then they won't even have any questions of how you obtained it. And I think that's a good system, right?
You
You want
think
to
they'll take the
reduce the
murder
amount of gun.
weapon? I'll sell them the
I
murder
think
weapon and then I'll be fine, right?
I I'm pretty sure if it's a murder weapon, they will investigate it, right? But they won't ask you question. Like they won't ask you. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right? That's because that's trying to encourage people to hand in the guns. Because
Mm.
if say it's a murder weapon and then they stop you, then it's kind of like a bait, right?
It's
Because
the
they say
perfect
no question
alibi.
asked.
Why are your fingerprints all over the murder weapon? I was trying to sell it to the buyback, dude.
Okay,
Where'd you
yeah,
find it? It was just on the road.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how that really works, but I think that's how. At least I'm pretty sure they can't arrest you right there,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
Like that would
I
scare
mean, they
other people
probably
to hand in
can,
their guns.
but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yep,
That's all I got.
yep. Same.
All
A
good?
shorter episode today because it's a second episode this week.
Yeah, I think doing two that are shorter works. I think doing one that's longer works. I mean, and we'll have to figure out some new intro stuff. I'll look into.
You guys can. Are we still recording? We are,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People can give us feedback, right?
Oh, some feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
We
I
need
saw the comment
feedback.
last week about me not eating the McDonald's
Yeah.
on
So
screen.
next time you want to
I
talk
don't have
about
a.
food, take some personal pictures, dude.
I will
Good.
be going to a ramen place tomorrow,
Yeah.
probably if I
Well,
wake up in time.
we better have some good photos, good food review.
It, it probably won't have my face on it,
Yeah.
but I'll probably take a picture of the food.
Okay.
I'll probably have some ramen if it's open or if I woke up
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah.
Wake
I
up.
need to get some ramen too. One of these
Quite
days.
expensive, so I'm like kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
Like ramen's getting so expensive.
Prices are going up, man. The world's falling apart.
I can't afford inflation, man. In
Okay.
this world.
We good?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Bye.